I am driving along a wide Texas highway under a hard white sun, the asphalt stretching endlessly beside dry grass and scattered scrub. The air feels heavy with heat, and the sound of tires rushing past dominates everything. I slow down as something irregular breaks the symmetry of the roadside. I pull over onto the gravel shoulder, feeling a sudden tension in my chest before I even fully understand why. I step out of the vehicle and the smell of hot rubber and dust fills the air. A few meters from the highway, near a bent metal guardrail, I see a Siberian Husky standing rigidly in the grass. The dog's thick gray and white fur is matted with dirt, its legs trembling as it struggles to stay upright. Wrapped tightly around the Husky's neck is a large snake, its muscular body coiled with deliberate force, compressing the fur and forcing the dog's head into an unnatural downward angle. The Siberian Husky's chest moves fast and shallow, each breath clearly difficult. Its blue eyes are wide and glossy, locked onto me without blinking. The dog does not bark or whine, but its body shifts in short, desperate movements that fail to loosen the snake's grip. The snake's head stays close to the dog's jawline, its body tightening and relaxing in slow, controlled pulses. Cars rush past only a few meters away, wind pushing against my clothes, but the Siberian Husky does not look toward the noise. The animal's attention stays fixed on me, as if it has already decided that I am the only variable left in this moment. The roadside grass bends under the weight of the struggle, and the guardrail reflects the sun in sharp flashes. I stand there, fully aware that time is not neutral anymore. The Husky's posture grows weaker by the second, and the snake shows no sign of releasing its hold. The animal's gaze follows every small movement I make, silent, steady, and unmistakably asking without a single sound. I take a slow step closer, and the gravel shifts under my boot, loud in my own ears. The Siberian Husky reacts instantly, its body jerking in panic, and the large snake tightens its coils in response, compressing the dog's neck even harder. The animal's breathing becomes sharper and more uneven, and I realize that every reaction costs the dog precious air. The heat becomes unbearable as I stand there, exposed on the side of the Texas highway. The sun burns my neck, sweat runs into my eyes, and my hands feel clumsy and dry. I look around instinctively, searching for anything useful, but the environment offers nothing but grass, metal, and speeding vehicles. There is no leash, no tool, no barrier between me and the danger unfolding in front of me. The large snake's body moves with disturbing efficiency, tightening in slow, deliberate contractions that drain the Siberian Husky's strength. The dog's legs begin to buckle, its posture sinking lower with each breath. Its thick fur hides nothing now. The strain is visible in every muscle. I can see the moment where panic starts to fade into exhaustion, and that realization hits harder than fear. Traffic continues to surge past, each passing truck pushing air and noise into the scene, shaking my focus. I feel trapped between the speed of the highway and the stillness of the struggle. If I move too fast, I risk provoking the snake. If I hesitate, the dog loses more oxygen. Time narrows into a thin, suffocating corridor with no safe pauses. I lower myself slightly, keeping my movements slow, my eyes fixed on the snake's coils. My heart pounds so hard it feels visible. The Siberian Husky's eyes flutter for a split second, and its body sags against the grass before it forces itself upright again. That moment tells me everything. The margin for error is disappearing, and whatever I do next cannot be undone. I am no longer just witnessing danger. I am standing inside it, with a living animal depending entirely on my next decision. I force myself to breathe slower than my instincts allow. Panic will only make my hands clumsy. I pull my phone from my pocket with shaking fingers and step back just enough to avoid provoking the snake. I keep my eyes on the Siberian Husky the entire time, watching the animal fight to stay conscious as the coils remain tight around its neck. I make the call quickly, giving short, precise information. There is a dog. There is a large snake constricting its neck. We are on the side of a Texas highway. Every second matters. I end the call knowing help is moving, but also knowing it may not arrive fast enough on its own. I look again at the scene and understand that waiting passively is not an option. I grab my jacket from the truck and approach slowly, keeping my body low and movements deliberate. I use the fabric to create a barrier, not to strike, not to grab blindly, but to distract and protect my hands. The snake reacts to proximity, its body tightening once more, and the husky's legs nearly give out. I focus on the snake's anatomy, remembering that constriction depends on leverage and continuous pressure. I slide the jacket carefully between the coils and the dog's neck, creating the smallest possible gap. The Siberian husky's breathing stutters, then steadies for a brief moment, just enough to tell me the maneuver helps. I apply steady outward pressure, not pulling, not jerking, but forcing the snake to adjust its grip. The animal resists, muscles rippling with strength, but the interruption breaks the rhythm of constriction. The husky collapses to its knees, chest expanding in a desperate gasp that cuts straight through me. I stay focused, ignoring the traffic, the heat, the fear. This is no longer about hesitation or instinct. It is about controlled action, precise movement, and refusing to let the situation decide the ending on its own. The snake shifts suddenly, reacting to the sustained pressure and the closeness of my body. Its coils tighten one last time in a reflexive surge, and the Siberian husky's body jerks weakly in response. For a fraction of a second, the dog's chest stops moving altogether. That silence is louder than the highway, louder than anything I have ever felt. I know this is the edge. There is no space left for caution that looks like fear. I adjust my grip, changing the angle of pressure, forcing the snake's body outward instead of upward. The movement is controlled but decisive. The snake resists hard, muscles locking, but the leverage breaks the seal of its constriction just enough to matter. The Siberian husky's head drops heavily to the side, tongue slipping slightly from its mouth. Its eyes are open but unfocused, glassy, hovering on the edge of shutting down completely. I stay with the motion, holding pressure steady, refusing to let the snake reestablish its rhythm. My arms burn, my hands shake, but I do not stop. Then the change happens. The snake loosens one coil, then another, not in surrender, but in confusion. The interruption has broken its certainty. Air rushes back into the husky's lungs in a sudden, violent expansion. The dog coughs silently, body convulsing as oxygen returns, fragile and uneven, but real. The snake slides away from the dog's neck, still dangerous, still alive, but no longer in control. It drops into the grass beside us, its body recoiling defensively. I do not chase it. My entire world narrows to the Siberian husky lying on the ground, chest rising again, slower now, deeper. I keep one hand near the dog's neck, not touching, just ready. The dog blinks, once, then again, eyes finally focusing. In that moment, I understand how close we came to the end and how one correct decision shifted everything away from it. I stay where I am, knees pressed into the dry grass, letting the moment settle instead of rushing it away. The Siberian husky lies on its side beside the Texas highway, chest rising and falling in deeper, steadier movements now. Each breath looks stronger than the last. The dog's thick gray and white fur slowly lifts back into shape where it was crushed, and the violent tension that filled the air begins to drain. The snake is gone from the immediate frame, retreating into the grass beyond the guardrail, no longer part of this ending. I do not follow it with my eyes for long. My attention belongs entirely to the animal in front of me. I keep my posture low and calm, making myself small and non-threatening. This is not a moment for dominance or victory. It is a moment for quiet recovery. The Siberian husky blinks slowly, blue eyes finally focusing with clarity instead of panic. Its head lifts a few centimeters, then rests again when the effort proves too much. I see confusion first, then recognition, then a subtle release in its body. The dog is no longer fighting. It is choosing to rest, trusting that the danger has passed. I slide a bottle of water from my truck and pour a small amount onto the ground, letting the sound and smell reach the dog without forcing anything. The husky shifts slightly, nose moving, awareness returning piece by piece. After a long minute, it gathers enough strength to push itself into a seated position, shaky but determined. That simple action feels monumental. I sit back on my heels and give the animal space. Traffic still moves on the highway, but it no longer dominates the scene. The world has narrowed into something quieter, more human. The Siberian Husky looks at me one last time, not with desperation now, but with a calm steadiness that feels like closure. No tail wag, no dramatic gesture, just presence. When help finally arrives in the distance, I already know how this ends. The dog is alive. The danger is gone. I stand up slowly, dust on my jeans, heart finally catching up to my body. As I step away, the husky remains sitting in the grass, breathing freely, sunlight warming its fur. The road continues forward, but this moment stays with me, complete and unbroken.